The following program does not necessarily reflect the opinions and viewpoints of the staff and management of the station.
Welcome to the wonderful world of seniors, the best of all worlds. You now have the time, resources, and ability to enjoy what you have worked for all your life. So let's explore the many possibilities available to seniors on Senior World Radio. Senior World Radio is your source for senior citizens-related topics, information, and entertainment. Now, here is your host of Senior World Radio, Glenn Howard.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Senior World Radio. I'm Glenn Howard with a very special guest, a lady who is the Assistant Director of the Public Housing Authority for Oklahoma City Housing Authority is the actual name. Barbie Baker. Barbie, welcome to the show. So good to have you today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, we do a lot of talking about this is a great time to be a senior. Seniors today are living longer. They've got better health. They've got more resources, greater opportunities than any generation in history. We think that seniors truly are young at heart and twice as smart. But the fact is, you don't have to be rich in order to be comfortable and to have a good life when you become a senior. And I think you represent an organization that provides an awful lot of wonderful services for seniors with the Oklahoma City Housing Authority. First of all, tell us a little bit, what is the Oklahoma City Housing Authority and what does it do?
Well, thank you. The Oklahoma City Housing Authority is a provider of low-income housing for not only senior citizens, but also families and individuals who are disabled or handicapped. And we do this in a variety of ways. Of course, my focus is the senior side. We operate 10 senior citizen housing communities all over Oklahoma City. We have 4 that are in the south part of town, 2 are in northwest, 2 are northeast, and 2 are in the downtown area.
Okay, now you say you work with the senior group. Is the Housing Authority available to people of all ages, or is it only for physically limited or seniors, or who can qualify for it?
Okay, to live in senior citizen housing, they must be 62 or over.
Okay.
Or handicapped or disabled.
Okay.
And that's our parameters for the senior housing. We also have housing for families. And then we also have vouchers, which are through our Section 8 rental assistance program.
What describe for me a typical person who would be living in the Oklahoma City Housing Authority? These are not destitute people, street people. Are they? How would you describe them?
We service all individuals who qualify by income, ability to abide by a lease, that have had a good rental history, and if they qualify through those parameters, which are set by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, then they're eligible to live in our communities. We have a wide array of individuals. We have people that just are still working, but their salaries are very low, as well as people that have been retired for many, many years, and either their health started to fail or their homes just got to be too much, and so they have chosen to move into our communities.
Let's talk about the income requirements. Mm-hmm. What is the requirements or the limits on income for people to qualify?
In our senior buildings, we have efficiency in one-bedroom apartments. Mm-hmm. So therefore, we have either single occupancy or occasionally we'll have a couple or a 2-person occupancy. So for a 1-person occupancy, the maximum income is $34,900, which is very high.
That's a pretty good income.
It sure is. And for a couple or a 2-person family, the income goes up to $39,300.
Okay.
So it is a pretty good income.
Indeed it is. And then I guess there is no minimum requirement. I don't know, you said something about rental history. Do they have to have a job? Do they have to have a certain level of income, or is there no minimum level?
There is no minimum. We have some people that come to us that have no income.
I am very. You mentioned there were 10 around Oklahoma City. I have personally had an opportunity to visit several of them. I've been in Candle Lake. I've also been over on Meridian, the one there at 53rd. What do they call? That's the Danforth.
Lewis F. Danforth
Right.
Senior Center. Yes, sir.
Those are nice facilities, Barbie.
Well, thank you. We're very proud of them.
We, over the years, have been doing what we call road shows. We'll go into the retirement centers a lot of time and do entertainment activities. We've sent the clown in. We send music groups in. I've even gone in before with that old big map of Israel laid out in the middle of the floor, and we've done tours of the Holy Land. And, when you talk about subsidized housing or government housing, you get a vision of something you see on television in New York, a gang-infested, a horrible living condition.
We're very proud that ours are not.
You don't have that at all. In fact, they are really very nice facilities.
Thank you. We're very fortunate that our residents help us, by maintaining their homes, and they are very proud of their neighborhoods.
You use the term rental history. I guess you kind of know who's moving in before you actually put them in a place, do you not?
That's correct. Yeah, we do, as any landlord would do. We check to make sure that they qualify for, and for the services that they're going to receive.
Barbie, tell me a little bit about you. How did you get involved with the Oklahoma City Housing Authority?
Well, I hate to say this, but it was by accident.
Okay.
Some
great things happen by accident.
It sure did, and it was a wonderful accident that I just kind of fell into. I had left a job and was getting ready to go back to school and get another degree, and I needed a job. A friend told me that they had an opening at the Housing Authority, and I applied, got it, and I've been there ever since.
And that's been how long?
36 to 37 years.
Wow, long enough that you feel like you're part of the operation at this point.
It's never old, never old.
When a person is applying for to live in one of the facilities that provide by the Oklahoma City Housing Authority, you were talking about the maximum income qualifications that they have. Is the rent then a percentage of their income? Is it a flat, fixed amount that everybody pays? Or what would a person, I'm thinking of a couple who, say, has been living in their home. They're within the income range. They just really can't keep up with the housing situation. They can't maintain it. Maybe they've been renting, but they need a little bit. I'm not talking about assisted living, but they're needing a little bit of better place to live, and they're considering their alternatives. What would they want to look for, and what would the kind of questions that they would be expected to answer to consider the Oklahoma City Housing Authority facility?
Well, when someone comes to us and they want to apply for housing, they will have to furnish proof of their income, which is usually pretty simple because if somebody has a bank statement, they can bring that. Everyone gets a verification of their Social Security, or they can get that from, wherever, or from Social Security, and then they can also get proof of income from, like, if they're working, from their bank stubs, things like, their pay stubs, and just any place that they get income from, and they just furnish that to us. It's all kept very confidential. They also, we get a photo ID. We have to see their Social Security card. And then we ask for their rental history, if they've had rental history. And then we check all that. And once everything is checked, and that usually takes, anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. We also do background checks. And when all that is done, their name is placed on a waiting list for the communities that they've told us that they want to live in. Their rent is set when they move in, and it's going to be 30% of their adjusted monthly income.
30% of their adjusted monthly income. So if a family primary income was let's say you had a husband and wife with roughly $2,000 a month, $24,000, or actually be let's say $25,000 annual income, then they're looking at roughly $750 a month.
Actually, no, because we do have maximum rents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for an efficiency apartment, the maximum rent is $304 at this time. And
$304 for efficiency, okay.
And $369 for a one-bedroom.
Barbie,
So-
that sounds like pretty cheap rent to me.
I think it is. And in addition, they get lots of services for that. In some of our buildings, the resident will have to pay an electric bill. And there's a reduction in their rent every month to help them pay the electric bill. Plus, the other flip side of that is that the Housing Authority pays for the heat and air. So they're actually only paying for the fan that runs the heat and air, and also the receptacles in their apartment. So it's a good bargain.
It really is a good bargain. You mentioned a waiting list. Does that mean that for most of the facilities you have a considerably long waiting list, or how long does it take generally for them to get in?
Waiting lists fluctuate. I would say, depending on how willing the applicant is to go anywhere in Oklahoma City, and if they have checked all 10 of our sites, they could be on the waiting list for as small a time as 3 to 4 months. If they have their heart set on one, it could be multi-years. Okay. So basically, the waiting list depends on the applicant.
If somebody's listening to us and says, I'd like to explore that, how would they contact you or get more information on this?
They can contact the Oklahoma City Housing Authority at 239-7551.
And that's 239-7551. Okay.
And ask for the Public Housing Division. And then if they want to go a little bit further and they want to talk to me, they can ask for someone that knows about senior citizen housing.
Barbie, we got to take a break. I'm Glenn Howard, Senior World Radio, visiting this morning with Barbie Baker. Barbie is the Assistant Director of Public Housing Senior Division for the Oklahoma City Housing Authority. We're going to be coming back in just a few moments, so please stay right here with us.
You're nobody till somebody loves you.
Have you ever had a problem, but it seemed like there was no one who could help? You spent hours calling around, being referred from one place to the next. Well, not anymore. I want to tell you about a free and easy-to-use service in Oklahoma. 211 is a simple 3-digit phone number to get help or to give help when you don't know where to turn. Dialing 211 only takes a minute, and you are connected with a caring Oklahoman who will help you find the assistance you've been looking for. With access to over 13,000 programs, Heartline 211 can connect you to local resources for many different needs, including health care, food, counseling, rent assistance, disability assistance, job services, and much more. 211 is a service of Heartline, a United Way partner agency. 211, the right first call to get help or give help 24 hours a day.
Hi, my name's Jason Ledlow, president of UT Phone, the ultimate telephone service. We're proud to be a sponsor of Senior World Radio with Glenn Howard. UT Phone is dedicated to providing Oklahomans affordable telephone service all across our great state. We have Lifeline Home Phone service starting at just $1.95. That's right, just $1.95, and most of Oklahoma's seniors qualify for this reduced home phone service. They get to keep their old home phone number, and it even includes long distance. Another great feature of UT Phone's customers really like is that it includes repair service. That's right, any repairs at no additional charge. With many telephone services charging $40 to $50 per month, it makes sense to switch your service to UT Phone. This service is a federal program that is provided through the Universal Service Fund. There is only one per household, so make it UT Phone's home phone service for $1.95. Give us a call at 800-996-0098. Again, call 800-996-0098.
I've made up my mind.
Welcome back to Senior World Radio. I'm Glenn Howard this morning visiting with Barbie Baker. Barbie is the Assistant Director of the Public Housing with the Oklahoma City Housing Authority. She's with the Senior Division. Barbie, it's been very interesting in the last segment talking about the facilities. I understand you have 10 facilities in Oklahoma City. I'm kind of excited because we're planning on going out to some of these facilities and getting a chance to meet what we call incredible seniors. In fact, I was visiting the Danforth Center the other day and ran into a lady who her home was destroyed in Katrina down in New Orleans, and somehow she managed to get to Oklahoma City and found the Danforth Center to be a godsend as far as she was concerned, delighted with it. But we want to go in and get a chance to visit with people and talk to them and hear their stories and put it on the air. And, in fact, some of our listeners may be very interested in recommending somebody that we could interview and tell a story of an incredible senior. Mm-hmm. In fact, I hope if you've got a pencil and paper, you'll write down my phone number and give me a call and say, hey, you need to go by and meet, and give me the name and address of somebody. Let me go by and talk to them and see if we've got a story that we can broadcast on this show. My phone number is 877-875-0990. Now, this is a Watts number you can call from any place in the state and tell me about somebody. In fact, I was having lunch the other day, mentioned this to a lady, and she said, you need to talk to my father. Told a story about a guy who had been in the war in the Philippines, truly a hero, a farmer that has been in Oklahoma virtually all of his life except for the military service, and an incredible story. I'm anxious to get up to Wellston to get a chance to visit him. So if you've got somebody, give me a call. Again, that number is 877-875-0990. Let me go out and meet them. But right now, I want to talk a little bit more with Barbie about the Oklahoma City Housing Authority. Barbie, the facilities are so nice. The requirements, boy, they sound great. I mean, when a couple can make up to $39,000 a year and still qualify to live in the Oklahoma City Housing Authority in such nice facilities, I would think everybody would be anxious to get into something like that. How do they go about contacting you to get more information?
Well, they can contact me at the Oklahoma City Housing Authority. The number is 239-7551. And they just need to ask for someone in senior housing, and more than likely they will get me or someone that is just as knowledgeable as I am.
Okay, now, you mentioned a while ago that the rent is a part of their adjusted income, that they do pay some of their own benefits like cable, telephone, part of electricity, something like that. Are there other kind of services? Do you provide feeding programs, or what are the other kind of services that are available to residents in the Oklahoma City Housing Authority facilities?
I appreciate you mentioning that, because we do believe that our seniors need services in order to keep themselves healthy and living with us just as long as possible. Many of them have become very frail. They've lived with us a long time. And some of the things that we do is we contract with several agencies to provide activity centers and meal programs within our communities. We probably have 40 to 50% of our residents participate on a daily basis, with 100% participating in some activity that we have. Those operate 5 days a week with a noon meal. We have computer labs in most of our communities because a lot of residents don't actually have a computer, or sometimes it's expensive to have internet, and so this is a service for them to conduct business.
And I'll bet they all have an email address.
Well, they're getting them. They are definitely getting them.
I am so thrilled to see how so many seniors are really staying connected, and the ability to have a computer lab in the facility. That's a pretty nice convenience.
It really is. And just to let you know, we had a gentleman that lived in one of our communities, and he had no computer skills, got into one of our labs. We were very fortunate enough to have an instructor come in, and he got on the internet, learned how to research, and he was able to reconnect with his family. So that was, there's many success stories, but that's one that just really pops every time I think about it.
There are so many services available to seniors. We often say on this show that it's a great time to be a senior, and it really is, regardless of your income level, because people in limited income have not only services like you have at the Oklahoma City Housing Authority, but in fact, I met a lady the other day that I think will be coming in to do a show with me next week with, she called it RSVP, Retired Senior Volunteer Program. And there are a lot of seniors that are ready to help other seniors. I think particularly in her case, they provide transportation. What do you do as far as the Oklahoma City Housing Authority? Do you have transportation facilities to assist them in going shopping or the doctor or whatever the case may be? Or
we do, because we realize that transportation is so difficult. We have a couple of buses that we have purchased, and we call one the Fun Bus.
Okay.
And it supplements shopping, and they do such things as perhaps go fishing, even just take a tour of Oklahoma City. Many people haven't been downtown. They go, of course, to any type of shopping. They've gone to the arts festival, anything that the library. It's nice to go and be able to pick out your own book. So we just do whatever the residents choose to do. We had a group go bowling not too long ago. Said they couldn't remember the last time they had been bowling, and they stayed and stayed and stayed. So it was a great outing.
So that's the Fun Bus.
That's the Fun Bus.
The other one?
The other bus is our medical bus.
Okay.
And it runs 20 hours a week, and it takes residents to their doctor or medical appointments. It's not a program that's going to cure everything, but it's going to help.
Barbie, I think the thing that's impressing me right now as I visit with you, I've talked to a lot of seniors who have thought, gee, I'd like to get out of this house, get rid of some of these responsibilities, live in a retirement center. And frankly, when you go out to some of the retirement facilities and you start looking at the cost and realize some of these places, $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, $3,500, $5,000 a month, it scares the daylights out of them, and they say, wow, there is no way I could ever do something like that. And so they assume I'm stuck right here where I am. Especially, I think that's true for women who have lost a spouse. The husband took care of the home. He made all the repairs. Now he's gone. She feels so helpless to do some of these kind of things, not suggesting that women are necessarily helpless, but in many cases they are because they haven't been doing it. But when they look at the cost of retirement living, they simply feel like that's an impossibility. It sounds to me like the Oklahoma City Housing Authority really offers an incredible opportunity for these kind of people.
Thank you. That's one of our missions, is we want them to be able to live there safely, securely, as long as they want to live there. I know that when we have people all the time, when they move in, they'll come in very soon after they've moved in and said, I had the best night's sleep I've had in a long time, because they felt safe, they felt secure. They know that all of our buildings are handicapped accessible. They know that they're sprinkled, so in case of a fire, that the fire is going to get put out very quickly. We also have emergency pulls in each apartment. It's not answered by a medical person. It's answered by our staff, but we can get emergency services going and be there just to say, we're here. So most people that live with us feel very, very secure.
And they don't need to worry about a landlord deciding to raise their rent or to kick them out or to sell the house out from under them and start that whole process all over again.
Well, that's not something we want to do, but we do have to adjust rents based on income. It's a yearly HUD requirement that we have to recertify them every year. But we have so many residents that have lived with us for 20 plus years, and they just continue to stay and be happy, and that's exactly what we want.
Barbie, I'm sure you probably had some people that you've met over the years that the facilities really was a lifesaver to them. Can you think of any where that you really felt like you changed somebody's life by providing them the good housing opportunities that you have in the Oklahoma City Housing Authority?
Oh, absolutely. One lady comes to mind every time someone asks me that question. We have an adult day center in one of our buildings, which really is for our more frail residents. They can go there however many times their caseworker tells them that they need to go or that they should go, and they can spend the whole day, be monitored health-wise. They can have meals. They can have activities. And this one lady, unfortunately, had no relatives, no close friends. How she got to Oklahoma City, I'll never know, but she did. And she moved in, and she was just lost and very, very frail. So she wasn't getting the medical oversight that she needed. She went to the adult day center, and she was on the verge of having to go into, well, her choice would have been a nursing home. And she was able to live with us a good 2 to 3 years more before she had to go into the nursing home. And that, to me, is a very success story because she was happy.
We haven't had a chance to talk much about meals. I think you do work pretty close with the Senior Nutrition Center, do you not?
Correct. We have them in 6 of our buildings, and they furnish a new meal that we provide for a donation for any resident that chooses to participate. And then we also contract with the Salvation Army centers in 3 of our sites, and they provide the same thing, and then with daily living centers in one of our buildings.
I'm Glenn Howard, Senior World Radio, visiting with Barbie Baker. Barbie is with the Oklahoma City Housing Authority, working as the Assistant Director of Public Housing for Seniors. That phone number one more time, Barbie, is what? How can people contact you?
It's 239-7551, and ask for the Public Housing Senior Citizen Division.
239-7551. Write that number down. Give her a call. Consider the Oklahoma City Housing Authority. Those 10 facilities are nice. You'll enjoy it. Hey, time's up. We got to go. Barbie, thanks so much for coming in. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you again this same time next week. Until then, be good to somebody and especially yourself. Bye-bye now.
I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I've found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world.